continue our focus on airlines and turn to low-cost flyer OneTime. Now, OneTime has a market cap of only 53 million rand, and like Comair, did not declare a dividend at its previous earnings. It operates the more nice, less price discount and also has an aircraft maintenance business. Its management team has recently been changed, and its expanding routes include a link to Zanzibar from South Africa. Now, I believe that there are some questions about whether the stock is actually a going concern or not. It appears that their financial statements have been delayed beyond their year end to what is acceptable. Have you heard anything to that effect?
Yeah, and they're also trading under a cautionary, and it's been there for a while. Yeah, and we've had Rodney James, the former COO, and Glenn Orsmond, the former CEO, both leaving in the past few months. So, you know, it doesn't add up. It doesn't give you a nice, warm, fuzzy feeling, unfortunately.
Oh, it must make investors want to run the other way. The COO and the CEO under cautionary, and people saying it could be not necessarily a going concern.
Look, what we discovered with Velvet Sky is that these airlines have one very valuable asset, and that's the money that people have paid for air tickets that they still have to fly on. So if it sounds not that reassuring, it's not that reassuring. OneTime are operating fairly old fleet, mostly leased, and they have a fairly good website, so the whole thing kind of keeps going. But Chris is right, the founders have left. The new CEO, Blackie Komani, sounds very good. He's an ex-SA tourism guy. He was based in
Sounding good
the
and
US.
executing are two completely different things.
Apparently, he did his master's thesis on JetBlue, which
He sounds
is like
very, very good.
But I think it could be exciting because, you know, there's a space for somebody flying on that basis. The air servicing business was supposed to be the counter-cyclical thing because that was paid in dollars. So when the rand dollar wasn't working for you. But look, it's a small operation and it's living on the smell of an oil rag. The executive changes, I don't think are net positive, necessarily net negative. The shareholder base has also been very loose. Glenn and his founders have been exiting, and there's some shareholder movements that seem quite chunky. There's some crowd called the Trustee Board Investments who's been accumulating shares. We don't know for who. So it all sounds a bit flighty.
Where there's smoke, there's fire. Can I use that old adage?
Yeah, at 20 cents a share,
it's
just been kind of on a descent for landing. But, you know, I suppose from here they can only go up.
Chris, you can't just giggle in studio.
I think there is one possible saving grace here. I spoke to Blackie Komani a few months ago, and basically what they've done, he mentioned Zanzibar. Now that's a route that nobody else is flying. There are some other fantastic routes in the rest of Africa. I think if they have a future, it is probably in the rest of Africa, not trying to compete with the likes of Comair and SAA on overcrowded routes like Cape Town and Durban, but getting into the rest of Africa where margins are much, much higher, underserviced routes, if you can get there.
But with those old planes, underserviced routes and old planes, it doesn't sound very good.
You must see some of the planes that are flying in the rest of Africa. These things on average are about 25 years old. They're pretty old. But look, they're well maintained, they're well serviced. The airframes apparently can just about last forever, so people tell me in the industry.
Well, I certainly don't want to be one of the passengers that finds out that it's time to retire a plane. Yeah. Chris, hot or not?
No, unfortunately, I just don't like airline stocks at all.
Hot or not?
Yeah, I'm afraid it's a bit risky, not hot.